Buenos dias, guys, and welcome back to Mama Lotties. Today I'm joined by a friend of mine. Her name is Kaitlyn, and she comes all the way from across the pond. So if you don't know where that is, that's America, guys. So she's gonna help us cook some dishes today. It's American-style food.
Yes, that's right.
So thank you for coming on the show,
Thanks
first
for
of all.
having me.
Of course. So I think we should get started to really cook, and then we can just chat a bit about you, really.
Great. Sounds
Okay,
good.
so you're gonna show me how to make some salads.
Yeah, carrot and beetroot salad.
Okay.
So it's pretty simple. Raw carrots, raw beet, and some pickled beetroot. So it adds a nice touch of flavor. But we're gonna spiralize them. So you have a lot of nice crunch and it's a fun texture.
That's great. So that's something different. We're not spiralized things on the show before.
No?
So
Oh, it's a lot of fun.
You do
Feels like magic.
You do it quite often then at home.
Yeah, we spiralize everything. And you know there's that big health craze. So that you can have like zucchini noodles or carrot noodles. So
Yeah. Okay.
healthy, but it's just fun for me.
Brilliant. First up, Kaitlyn's going to throw together not one, but two amazingly simple salads.
We'll start with the carrots.
Okay.
And do you want to cut half of those?
Yeah.
We'll just cut the ends off.
Okay. So you are sort of professional cook.
Yeah, I originally went to culinary school in the States. I left after some time. It just wasn't exactly where I wanted to be. And then I went to traditional uni. And then I studied to be a beauty therapist and an esthetician.
Okay.
So a little
quite
bit
a
of
difference.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also have worked on multiple farms. So definitely a Renaissance woman.
So is that because have you grown up in a farm or you grown up in that sort of area?
Kansas is full of farmlands and farm families and farm communities, and my family has a farm, so not a massive working farm, but farmland. So.
Nice. So what brings you to Gibraltar then? Because you're not in Kansas anymore.
No, I'm not in Kansas anymore. There's no place like home.
No. We got that out the way.
Yeah.
So, so what brings you to Gibraltar then? What made you end up in our little rock?
I actually met a local, Alfred Morrow.
Ah, okay. He's a friend of mine, yeah.
Yeah. He was studying in uni in the States, and we met through a mutual friend just randomly, and he went off the next day. So if I'd never said, yeah, I'll go out for drinks with friends, I would have never met him.
Oh, okay. Well,
Universe is pretty crazy like that.
Yeah, well, it's good that you met someone different, someone new, and that you've ended up here. Yeah.
That I was going to be here?
No. Life is weird, but exciting.
Very exciting. Yeah.
So we've done the carrots.
Yep.
Shall we put them in the bowl then?
Yep, let's put them in the bowl for now. And we'll do the green beans, the roasted green beans, since they're going to take a little bit longer. And this is pretty quick salad to throw together.
Okay, so that's the green beans are gonna be sort of roasted, just simply.
Very easy, just a sloppy vinaigrette, as I like to say. So we just have 2 packets of green beans.
Right.
So they're about like 250 grams each. And you're just gonna put these on here. You can get ones that are trimmed, but we went ahead and trimmed these just so it's easy.
And washed and everything first.
Yep, all nice and clean. And then you're gonna take olive oil.
Olive oil, yeah.
And soy sauce. And white wine vinegar or cider vinegar, whatever you prefer. So.
Okay, so it's going to be quite a sort of pungent.
Yeah, it's got to be pungent because the trick is you want to roast these on a high heat so that they get soft, but not too soft. You still remain some of the crispiness. Okay. They'll have that nice roasty flavor without being in the oven too terribly long. So.
Nice. I know that things in the oven tend to go sweet as well.
Yeah.
Or especially vegetables.
And you want to keep that savory effect, especially since these are vegetarian. You kind of want to like have that trick of them being savory without the meat. So.
Okay, so your diet's quite vegetarian.
Yeah, plant-based.
These days, yeah.
I still eat meat, but choose to know exactly where it comes from. Yep. The soy sauce is the trick for it being that extra that savouriness.
But it adds a saltiness as well to it.
Yeah, the umami flavor.
Umami flavor. Sounds so nice. And then just as well,
just
no?
a
Just
drizzle of that
sprinkle
as well.
on top. Good.
We're just going to do a little drizzle of lemon. I don't know about you, but I tend to put lemon in everything.
Yeah, especially with fish.
So now we're gonna grab a red onion, a white onion, and lots of garlic. So we're gonna do half a red onion, and then the rest of the white onion. And you can just chop it in half and then chop them into strips. The great thing about these beans, just like lemon, you can never have enough garlic. No,
I love garlic in everything. Sometimes I put too much and then I think, oh, maybe I spoiled it, but...
Maybe they won't like it, yeah. But we're gonna chop them really nice and fine, or slice them rather, and leave them at the top of the green beans with a little bit of olive oil, and they'll get nice and crispy So you have a little bit of crunch with the beans.
Oh, lovely.
And then towards the end, in the last couple of minutes of cooking, we'll just throw a handful of sliced flaked almonds on top. So you get that nice nutty, savory flavor.
So it's going to be quite a mixture of flavors here, and they're feeling quite vibrant.
Lots of textures. That's my favorite way to cook, visually and with lots of texture.
So you said you learned in America, sort of starting to cook professionally and everything. What do you prefer? Sort of savory cooking or baking?
I like a bit of both, really. That was my main intention when I first went to culinary school. I wanted to be the do-it-all person, but now it's come to the point that I really just like doing, you know, savory cooking for friends and family and at home, and, you know, incorporating some of that savoriness into baking. So when you're making like pies and pasties and those type of things.
Nice.
But I've always had a natural knack for cooking, but baking is the path I'm on now.
So you're going to carry on now teaching yourself how to bake and sort of developing what you explained of combining both savory and the sweet.
Of course. I'm going to continue, but actually I'm moving to London very soon.
Good.
To go back to uni to study baking and pastry and business. So I'll have about, you know, a 2-in-1 degree. Business and baking. The 2 B's.
The 2 B's. Good.
So these are nice and thin, and those onions look great. Yep, and we'll just toss those on top. It smells delicious. So we're going to drizzle a little bit more olive oil on top.
Okay.
And then the parsley and garlic and the thyme.
So as long as this is well seasoned, which is the important bit.
You can't go wrong, as long as it's seasoned.
Our seasoned beans and veg go into the oven at 200 degrees until they crisp over and caramelize. So the green beans, the onions and all that salad is in the oven.
Yep.
Which I can already start to smell the cider
smell
coming
the garlic.
through. Definitely. So I've gone ahead and started to, I was testing it out just to get the hang of it. I've started to spiralize these.
Yeah.
And the idea is to just spin it until it starts to come up, so into these long
curly cubes.
Curly cubes, yeah. So whilst I'm spinning this around,
okay,
is there anything else we need to do?
Yeah, I'm going to make a vinaigrette for the carrots and beetroot to sit in. So I've just strained the juice off of the beetroot, the pickled. Yep, there's pickled in there and raw beetroot.
Okay.
For texture. So I just took the juice of the beetroot in here, and I'm going to add half of a lemon.
Right. So the vinaigrette's going to be quite sharp.
Yes.
Okay.
The carrots are really sweet, the beetroot is really earthy, so you want a pungent vinaigrette to bring those flavors together. And then I'm going to chop 1 shallot.
Yeah.
Which once again, it's a nice sharp flavor.
So I've taken the liberty of spiralizing the beetroot as well.
Lovely job.
Thanks.
So what we're going to do is finish the vinaigrette first.
Yep.
So we already have the beetroot juice, and I've chopped 1 shallot. So we're going to take some cider vinegar. So this is about 1 to 2 tablespoons. There's a lot of veg there, and we really want it to be flavorful. Vinegar does the trick. So many people don't make their own vinaigrettes, and it's so easy.
Well, I didn't know how to do it originally.
Really?
So you're teaching me how to do it now.
You want your vinaigrette to always be an equal mixture, or almost equal, 2/3 vinegar to 1/3 oil. So that you get a nice emulsified vinaigrette. And we'll add a little bit of parsley and garlic.
Okay.
A little bit of pepper. And salt.
Salt. You can never go wrong with salt.
Never. And the shallot. And we also have the pickled beetroot that we grated beforehand. So that's nice and sweet and has a softer texture, which will incorporate really nice. So I'm just going to give this a nice stir to emulsify. That's what we fancy people like to say when a vinaigrette has reached the proper viscosity or texture. So we've just mixed vinaigrette, really nice and shiny, ready to coat all the veg, and then we'll go ahead and put the pickled beetroot in.
So yeah, I'll just let it to splash everywhere.
Yep, good call. Okay, so now we will add all of the raw that we spiralized.
In there. Well, this is gorgeous.
They're done.
Yeah, they're done. It smells amazing.
It's great. Then we'll plate these, and then we'll just toss with some almonds, and that's it.
That's it.
Very simple. And you can see that the onions and garlic have gotten nice and crispy.
Yeah.
Flaked almonds.
Yeah.
we'll just drizzle
So
some
flake
on top.
toasted almonds.
Yep.
Really refreshing.
Very much so.
Yeah, so it's really perfect for like a summer. For a summer's day lunch.
Exactly. Sweet
Lovely.
carrots,
Yeah,
tangy beets, nice and crunchy.
definitely, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
I love it.
Very
it's
savory.
really garlicky as well.
Very savory. So you get that fake, almost roasted meat flavor, but with the soy sauce and the beans and the garlic.
And it's quite crunchy. Even though we've roasted it, you think it'll be soft, but no, it's still quite crunchy.
It still keeps its crunch.
Yeah. Continuing with our veggie theme, it's Mama's vegetable lasagna. This hearty meal arrives just in time to warm our bellies this autumn. Well, Kaitlyn, that salad was amazing.
Thank you.
We did two,
Yeah.
so I think you spoiled me first.
Pretty easy.
Yeah, so I think it's time to start with the lasagna, which is the main course.
Great.
So this is a vegetable lasagna.
Okay.
To go on with the whole vegetarian theme that
Right.
we're going with today. We're going to roast the vegetables first.
Okay.
So it's going to be very autumn style lasagna.
Very hearty.
Yeah, very hearty. If you can give me a hand with chopping up some of the
Okay.
vegetables, what we're going to do is just dice them pretty much.
All right.
Because we're going to keep it simple and just roast them
Yeah.
to get them nice and
Quick
soft. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, great.
So these are going to be just chopped down, like I said, and then
Okay.
just placed on an oven tray.
Easy enough.
Yeah. So we've got roast red peppers. We're going to have butternut squash, 4 or 5 carrots.
Okay.
About maybe one, depending on the size, one or 3/4 of a spring onion, broccoli, mushrooms,
Mushrooms.
and garlic. It's going to be quite a hefty vegetable dish.
Great.
Pretty much. So what sort of a traditional autumn dish would you make in America then?
You know, we end up roasting potatoes, Brussels sprouts, sometimes dried fruits together. Since I live in an area that is full of farmland, everyone typically, you know, does what is seasonal. So a lot of roast corn as well.
You grew up in a farm, yeah, it's true.
I
So-
grew up near a farm, and
Okay.
my grandmother has a farm. We always had seasonal food, and we were outside when it was crisp air, and you could just smell the leaves, and then we'd go inside and have lots of nice, delicious food that
nice-
my granny would make. So
So this is sort of pretty much done.
okay,
Just
and the
need
carrots
to
too.
Add the carrots, yeah.
And the mushrooms? Okay.
I'm just going to start drizzling this and dressing this.
Okay.
And whilst this is in the oven, we can then start with the whole tomato sauce
Okay.
and the bechamel,
Great.
which is really simple to do. So we'll add some salt to this.
Okay.
And black pepper or white pepper, depends whatever you have
Yeah, whatever you have
on
on hand.
hand.
Easy.
So that's all there is to it.
Okay.
I'm going to put this in the oven at about 200 or so.
Okay.
It's going to take about 45 minutes to an hour. Depends how big you cut the chunks. So we cut
Yeah.
it quite small, it shouldn't take too long.
Should be pretty quick.
Yeah. So I think it's time to start with the sauce.
Okay, great.
So tomato sauce, which is the standard for any sort of lasagna, and bechamel. So it's just butter
Okay.
to start off with. We're just
Couple
going to melt the
tablespoons.
butter. Yeah, a couple tablespoons of butter more or less.
Yep.
And then what we're going to do is once this is melted, is fry some flour in there.
Yeah.
So we want the flour sort of to cook a bit with the butter
To make a roux.
to make, yeah, exactly. And then we're going to add in the milk.
Okay.
Slowly add it in because it will start to thicken.
Yeah.
So a bit at a time. So you want the sauce to be not too liquidy, not too thick. So we're going to add in the flour now.
Yeah.
So I tend to go for at least 4 or 5 tablespoons of butter, more or less. So you can see the consistency is already sort of thickening up into a paste.
Yeah.
And now is at the point where we add in the milk.
Right.
When you see that all the colour's gone sort of like a brownie from the butter. At this point, I'm going to slowly add in the milk.
Okay.
So we're going to do 2 garlics and just a bit of spring onions.
Okay.
We're just going to chop them down as the base of the sauce.
Great.
So the important thing to remember about a bechamel is to constantly stir it whilst,
Right.
whilst it's sort of developing, because it will either lump, and you don't want that to lump.
No.
So, bechamel is one of my favourites, I think.
I know. It goes with everything.
So easy to
And
do.
it's versatile.
Yeah, you can add anything to it and sort of change it a little bit, but I don't know, this is one of the things where the classic is the best,
Right?
I think. So it's better if you add the milk bit by bit
Right.
and stir this until you get the consistency that you want. So this is already looking
Getting
great.
creamy.
It's getting creamier. You can see that it's a bit lumpy,
Right.
but that
That's
will
okay.
dissolve.
Once you put the cheese in.
Exactly. Once you put the cheese in, once you add some more milk if you need to, then that will smoothen out a bit more. For this particular dish, I'm not going to add cheese to the bechamel sauce.
Okay.
I'm just going to leave it as is playing with with the flour, the butter and the milk. I'm going to add the cheese to the top, just the top layer of the lasagna, because I think it's going to the cheese might be a bit overpowering otherwise, and it's nice to taste all the vegetables
all the flavors.
And the other flavors in there, yeah. So now that this is almost done, do you need me to put some oil in your pan?
Yes, please.
Okay. So this is the point where I'm going to need 3 or 4 hands, so I can constantly stir this, and so it's great to have help in the kitchen at this point. So now I think you can fry the onions and the garlic at the same time.
Great.
We can add some oregano to the sauce, and I usually add a vegetable stock as well.
Oh, nice.
Just to give that extra punch.
The extra punch.
Yeah. So this is almost ready, so I'm going to add some nutmeg in now, which is going to be the final bit.
Just a touch.
Just a touch. So then we'll leave this to sit to the side. It can cool down, it's fine. Actually make it a bit easier to use because it'll thicken a bit whilst it's cooling down as well.
Great.
So in the meantime, I'll help you finish off the sauce.
Great. Thanks.
This is looking like it's already...
Translucent.
Translucent, yeah, it's already softening. So we can add in the sauce, I think.
Okay.
So I've got 2 tins of tomato sauce in this, about 800 grams.
Okay.
Which I think should be more than enough for the lasagna we're going to do.
Should be plenty with everything else.
Yeah. And then we're going to just season it with a bit of oregano as well.
And then we add the veg cube?
Exactly.
Okay.
Just add it in there, and that's what will dissolve whilst it's cooking away. You can see that the colours have already gone dark.
Yeah.
They've already crisped on the side, so that's what we want, because that's going to add the extra flavour.
Yeah.
So this is the point where we're going to layer everything.
Okay.
So in a big oven dish, we're going to layer these out.
Okay.
So you might want to give me a hand. I've got green lasagna sheets. I think they're more or less...
spinach?
I think they're spinach based, yeah. So I think it's just to add the extra, whole vegetable theme. So I'm going to start off with just a bit of bechamel at the bottom.
Okay.
Which that is just going to sort of help it stick.
Oh.
And now we're going to start with the layering. So it's a bit of tomato.
It smells yummy.
Yeah, you can smell the oregano, which is really, really strong. You can get some of the vegetables. We're going to try and get everything.
A little bit of everything.
A bit of everything with some bechamel on top. So basically all we have to do now is repeat and just carry on layering them. Great. Until we run out of ingredients or run out of space.
Yep.
It's either or. So Kaitlyn, I finished this off with the cheese.
Great.
We've layered this up as much as we can.
Yeah, it's loaded.
So it's loaded, it's quite a hefty dish. So all we have to do now is cover it with foil.
Okay.
Put it in the oven at 175, so we turn it down.
Okay.
And that's going to be in there for about 20 minutes or so. What we want is the pasta to cook, which is going to cook off with the sort of liquid that was from the tomato sauce. The cheese will go golden, so that will melt whilst it's covered. Gotcha. The last 5 minutes or so, we'll just take off the foil, let that crisp and just get a bit gold and perfect on top, so it looks irresistible because melted cheese, nothing like melted cheese. Well, that's the lasagna done.
Gorgeous.
That was there for at least half an hour or so because we needed to let it sort of golden on top once it's softened. Yeah. Best thing to do is let this sit for...
Let it rest. Yeah.
And then it's easier to cut and serve.
And then we can eat it.
And then we can give this a try, yeah.
Ooh, it's so good. Nice and crispy on top.
It is.
Perfect lasagna. The moment. Ooh.
There, so you can see every single layer, more or less every single layer.
It smells wonderful.
Shall we go for this then?
Yes, let's.
Right. It's really sweet because all the vegetables roasted and then finished off gives it that really sweet touch.
But so savory with the tomatoes and the peppers. It's really good.
And I think also the pasta, the green sheets gives it that extra flavor to it. Yeah. So we should get started with the pie then.
Let's.
Brilliant. Join us in part 2 when Kaitlyn cooks up that all-American classic, pumpkin pie. I'm really looking forward to this week's dessert as Kaitlyn prepares a Thanksgiving treat of pumpkin pie with a rich cranberry and raspberry sauce. So the pie.
First we're going to start with making the crust. It's only 3 ingredients, it's dead easy. And whilst I do that, I will guide you through making the filling.
Okay.
Half a block of butter. By American standards, it would be 1 stick of butter, which is 8 tablespoons.
Okay.
So you just want to cut your butter up into little chunks. 1.5 cups of flour. So once again, American measuring is by volume.
So it's going to be a simple top dough.
Very simple. Now if you like, you can always add like a pinch of salt, or you can add a little bit of sugar, which is what we're gonna do. If you wanna grab the sugar, and then just put a little pinch, just a touch of sweetness. So we'll finish with our butter.
Okay.
And just cut these into little chunks. And then while I mix this, I will guide you through the pumpkin process.
So how are you gonna mix it? You're gonna just like sort of rub it together?
Yep, you're just gonna rub the butter into the dough and then just work it into a dough. The third ingredient is just a bit of water.
Okay, which is just to make it like a bit looser. So in the meantime, whilst you prepare that, how do I start with the filling?
So you wanna start with 2 eggs.
Okay. So the eggs are in here, so I just need to whisk them together?
Just whisk them really well. And then to that, you're going to add 3/4 cup of sugar. So then you're going to add the pumpkin, that whole can of pumpkin.
This whole one. So this is pumpkin, which is sort of tinned but already, what, boiled or something?
Yeah, it's already been, you know, boiled down or roasted down, and then they squeeze out all of the liquid and can it. And when your pie dough is ready, it looks just about like this.
So a bit like breadcrumbs.
Yep. And then you add your cold water until it's the right consistency. You want to start with about a tablespoon at a time. And if you do it with ice cold water, that's even better, but room temperature works too.
Okay, great. So what else do I add in now?
The can of evaporated milk.
So a whole big can of evaporated milk.
And then you're going to add 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, a 1/2 teaspoon of ginger.
Now ginger's quite spicy.
It is, but in this it lends a nice sweetness. A 1/4 teaspoon of ground cloves. I know, doesn't that smell lovely?
Yeah, it's really nice.
It reminds me of the holidays.
It's like quite Christmas time.
Very much. And about 1/8 teaspoon of nutmeg, just a touch, because otherwise it's too overwhelming.
Good.
And when this dough's done, it'll be a nice glossy finish, just like
beautiful.
that.
Okay.
Really beautiful, easy dough, a butter dough.
Easy to manipulate as well.
Yeah, and it has like a nice glossy look to it.
Yeah.
And the last thing that you're gonna add is a teaspoon of vanilla.
Vanilla, okay.
You could always add almond extract instead of vanilla, and it has a little bit more of like that buttercream, that very American, super sweet flavor to it. But the filling's standard. So as you can see, I've rolled it out with cling film, 1 on the bottom and 1 on top. It just makes it easier so you don't have to use flour on the surface and mess with it being sticky or, you know,
nice trick.
Coming apart.
Yeah, nice.
Very
Less
easy.
mess as well.
Very much less mess. What you can do.
So we roll that really thinly, as I can see.
And then we're just going to tuck this in here.
So you want to roll it a bit bigger than the dish because it needs to go the whole depth of it.
Yes.
Do we need quite a deep pie dish?
You can get an American pie dish here. They're just a little bit deeper than a tart pan.
Okay.
Otherwise, you run the risk of
overflowing, no, I imagine.
Exactly. So we don't need all of this, so I'll just tear off a little bit of extra for some of these places. My grandmother would be laughing right now because she always makes it perfect.
Because she's got the practice.
She's got the magic touch. So with this, we're just going to tuck this under, the ugly edge under, just slightly.
Okay.
See that?
Just enough to the size of the dish then?
Yes. What you can also do to make sure that the crust is sitting all the way in the pan is just take this extra little bit of dough and push it to the edges. That way you don't overstretch the dough and then create holes.
And no bubbles as well.
Yep, no bubbles. So now, the decorative edge, you can do it one of 2 ways. You can do it with your thumb and 2 fingers to press a little pleat.
Okay.
Or you can do it with
your knuckles.
Your knuckles, exactly. One way gives you a smaller pleat and one is a little bit bigger.
And that goes the entire way around?
All the way around.
So this is going to be poured straight in there as well once that's done, no?
I'm just going to dock the crust to make sure that when it gets its initial bake, that it has an even baking all the way around. Okay, you ready?
Yep, so just pour this straight in there.
The smell is so nice. It smells like autumn.
It does, yeah, you can smell all the different spices. So that's going to go in the oven at, what did we say, 215 degrees Celsius?
About 215.
All right.
So 15 minutes at that temperature, and then we'll reduce the heat to about 175 for 40 to 50 minutes.
So while that's cooking away,
Yep.
I know that you prepared one at home already.
Yes.
Because we have to wait for it to cool down before we start the topping.
Right.
So this is nice and cold.
Yep, room temperature.
So go ahead and give me your instructions.
So for coconut whipped cream, it's dead easy once again. It's just a small can of coconut cream.
Yeah.
So it's been separated from the liquid that is considered the milk. So you put that in the bowl. And then you'll add a little bit of vanilla. I just fill up just the cap and then just a little bit of sugar.
So this was your creation of topping, or?
Yeah, because I don't really eat too much dairy, and so I wanted an alternative that still had that flavor and but was dairy free.
Nice. So I've whipped that together a bit.
Great.
This is still a bit runny.
Yep.
So what do you suggest I do?
Just put it in the refrigerator or freezer. I would just do the freezer and it'll seize up a little bit so that we have enough to put on our pie. So then we're gonna make the cranberry raspberry sauce. So we have a packet of fresh raspberries, and I've just kind of crunched those up with a spoon. And then we're going to add chia seeds, sugar, lemon, and orange zest, and their juices. If you want to squeeze this lemon in there and add the sugar, that's about a little over a quarter cup.
So for anyone who's not used chia seeds before, how do we describe them best?
Chia seeds are little seeds that are high in nutrients. They're easy to digest. They make things have a nice, like, viscous texture, thick. So it's an easy, quick way to thicken things up. So this is just a packet of dried cranberries that we poured hot water over to just rehydrate them. So after we have everything mixed together, we will pulse it with the hand blender. Once the orange zest and lemon zest and juice have all been mixed in together, we add the chia seeds dead last.
Last minute,
yes.
Okay.
Because then it'll give it an opportunity to gel. So they give things a texture of like jam or jelly, depending on how much you add.
So shall I zest the orange?
Yes. It smells great.
Smell everything, I know.
Very citrusy.
So much fruit on the orange. It doesn't matter if you get a bit of pulp in there.
No, just adds to the texture.
We're just going to blend this together with the hand blender now?
Yes.
Well, this is, I think, all pureed together.
Yep. And you can tell it already has a bit of a jelly texture to it. And then we'll just add the chia seeds.
Just add the cheese.
So this is about 2 tablespoons. You can add more or less depending on the consistency that you want.
Okay. And then just mix it in.
With a spoon. Some people are put off by the seeds, the way they look, sometimes the texture. So you can always leave them set for a couple of hours and then puree them.
The cream has sort of set a little bit. It's
Just
a bit thicker. So if you want to, you could leave it even longer and it would get a bit
a couple of hours and it thickens up quite nicely. Otherwise you can have it thin like a nice custard.
Okay, good. Well, I think it's time to serve this then.
Yes.
So I'll let you do the honors of cutting it. Oh wow, it's quite thick there. So you've cut a slice.
Yes.
How do we dress this?
Cranberry sauce.
Okay.
And pudding. So we'll just drizzle a little bit. Okay. I'll just put a little bit of this on here. And that's it.
Should we go for it then?
Go for it.
The jam is really, really fruity and really refreshing.
Tart, but still really sweet.
And then, now I can taste the spices from the pumpkin.
Yep.
So it's sharpness first, so you can feel it at the back of your teeth.
And the creamy coconut, the pumpkin. Yeah, it rounds out. It's
It
autumn.
really
Autumn on a plate.
Autumn on a plate, exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very, very much for
You're
showing me
welcome.
all these recipes.
Hopefully
I hope you
found some
liked
new
it.
favorites.
Thank you. Yeah, I did. And I hope you liked the lasagna as well.
I did. I loved it.
So I hope everyone at home liked it as well. And if you want to find all these recipes, Kaitlyn's going to give me the recipes, so I'll put them on mamalotties.com. And I'll see you all next week. It's going to be the last episode, so I hope you join me. So,
bye.
If you want to catch up with all the recipes and ingredients for today's dishes, head over to mamalotties.com. See you next week.